Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Bob Power, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you've joined us for today's battery and precious metals presentations. Our next live presentation comes from Metallic Minerals. Before I introduce our speaker, a few points to note. Please submit your questions in the question box to the left of the slides. If you're interested in scheduling a meeting with Metallic Minerals, please click on the Meetings tab found on the left navigation bar. You'll be able to view the company's availability and submit a meeting request. On a final note, all of today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Scott Petzel, President of Metallic Minerals, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol MMNGF and on the TSXV under the symbol MMG. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Bob. As Bob said, my name is Scott Petzel. I'm president of Metallic Minerals. Metallic Minerals is a precious and base metal exploration and development company with key assets in North America, with the idea of providing electric metals for North America's green energy future. Before I talk specifically about Metallic, I should mention that I will be likely making forward-looking statements and to use caution with those statements and to do your own research. Also, I want to mention that Metallic Minerals is part of the Metallic group of companies before we talk specifically about our three key assets. Metallic joins Stillwater Critical Minerals and Granite Creek Copper as part of the Metallic group of companies, which is a collaboration of leading independently traded exploration companies with a similar strategy and approach to business, which really is to utilize highly experienced leadership, identify and acquire district scale brownfield assets next to high-grade mines, make acquisitions in low price cycles and underexplored brownfield areas, and use our experience and our ability to apply systematic exploration and the most modern technologies to making discoveries while building value through resource creation and de-risking of those projects through economic studies in areas where infrastructure can rapidly allow for development timelines to proceed at low capital or reduced capital requirements. So the Metallic group of companies shares this strategy. Stillwater Critical Minerals, which I should mention, is located in southwestern Montana with a key asset in the Stillwater PGE district next door to Sibanye-Stillwater, where they have announced a 62% increase in resources to a 2.18 billion pound nickel equivalent resource. And Granite Creek Copper in the central part of the Yukon Territories is a high-grade copper asset in the Minto mining district next door to the operating Minto mine, with a high-grade resource and a fresh PEA that has a nearly $300 million NPV after tax and a 38% IRR. So both of those companies, like Metallic, are also very attractive. One of the key things is we do share assets below our CFO level, which allows our group to have a technical staff that is similar to a mid-tier producer with higher skill sets that we can apply across the group and utilize significantly as we move forward in the development of our projects. We tend to operate under what I call the franchise model, which is our track record of value creation following a company called NovaGold. Myself as president of Metallic, our CEO and chairman, Greg Johnson, who is also chairman of the Metallic group of companies, were on the co-founding team of a company called NovaGold Resources in the 2000s that basically did mimic that strategy. We acquired assets in the low price cycle that we recognized as significant assets that were discards from major companies, worked to build resources and de-risk those companies through initial stages of economic analysis, where we had significant resource growth, and then sell them back as much more significantly valued assets back to the majors or for an increased market price within the metallic company or Nova Gold. What we see as the companies within the metallic group is the process of undergoing the same thing in this franchise model. So in 2016, when Metallic Minerals was founded and we acquired the Keno Silver asset, it had largely been a low valued asset in a low price cycle. We were able to acquire it, and we're beginning to build a resource base that will provide significant value for the district as we move forward. Same thing for Stillwater Critical Minerals in 2017 with their acquisition of the Stillwater West project, and Granite Creek Copper with the acquisition of the Carmax project in 2018, and then Metallic's acquisition of the La Plata project in southwestern Colorado in 2019. So just want to bring up the exploration development value curve, often known or historically referred to as the Lassonde curve, which everybody is mostly familiar with, and just mention that both specifically Metallic is in a position of resource growth where there is significant room for a valuation premium ahead of us, particularly timing with increase in market valuation for junior explorers as we move forward in 2023 and onward into future years. So talking specifically about Metallic Minerals, we have three key assets. Our Keno Silver project is a high-grade silver lead zinc project located in the north central part of the Yukon territories, where we own 100% of our project, 171 square kilometer project, which is the second largest land position next door to our brownfields neighbor Hecla Mining, where over 300 million ounces exist in historic production and current resources in the district, Keno Silver District. We're working on identifying or have identified 40 plus target areas and trying to move 5 of those target areas to an inaugural resource during the 2023 year. We've just announced results from our 2022 drilling on 2 of those key advanced stage targets and look to announce a further drill results on a 3rd target sometime in the coming quarter. Our second key asset is our La Plata copper silver gold project in southwestern Colorado. In April of 2022, we announced our inaugural resource on the backs of work that was done by the majors, where we did confirmatory drilling and exploration work in the district. That resource is nearly 1 billion pounds of copper. That includes 15 million ounces of silver. And it's really envisioned as a large-scale mineralized porphyry system with the ability to be greatly expanded, and in a district where many new discoveries can yet be made. Our third asset is our Klondike alluvial portfolio, where we now have recently announced a new agreement with Little Flake Mining. Many of you may have heard of Parker Schnabel, kit of the hit show Discovery on the Discovery Channel called Gold Rush. Parker is a major operator. He's an award winner for his environmental work in the alluvial or placer mining district in the Klondike in northern Yukon territory. Our agreement with Parker calls for a 10 to 15% royalty to be received from his production in the years going forward, with a 2023 target production of between 5 and 10,000 ounces. And on this portfolio of alluvial ground that we've staked and control, we've got room for more operators. So there's a bit of upside on the Klondike alluvial portfolio production scenario. Let's move more specifically to talk about our Keno Silver project in the north central part of the Yukon territories. We're in a very established district, the Keno Silver District, with our brownfields neighbor Hecla, but also Victoria Gold is mining gold at the Eagle Mine in the district, Banyan Gold is discovering gold resources in the district, and there are many operators in there and explorers where we have good infrastructure to the project, and we've got the ability. There's an existing 4 megawatt grid power plant that at the Keno Mill complex with only 1 megawatt in use currently. So good infrastructure, good access to deep sea ports to ship concentrates to the project, well located in a very strong and important district within the Yukon territories. I mentioned Hecla before. Hecla completed the acquisition of Alexico Resources in September of 2022. The picture that you see is their mill site in the center part of the Keno Hill district. Hecla is the 3rd largest primary silver producer in the world. They have been working since September to infuse capital into the district, to upgrade the mill and perhaps expand, with the idea of restarting operations in Q3 of 2023 at a rate about 450 tons per day, but very high grade mineralization. And the one thing I think that's key here that you'll see is there are 8 years of mine life left in their proven and probable reserves. They have significant inferred resources, but they're drilling oftentimes very deep to determine or to identify additional resources. Whereas on our project, we've got significant upside of new resources in a near surface environment that may be easier to develop over time at a lower cost. This is a map of the district, essentially, and our property package is shown in orange. Hecla's property is shown in green. Historic producers in the district, major producers, are shown as orange circles. Current reserves and resources in the district are shown in yellow. Combined, there's over 300 million ounces of historic production and resources in the district. The district itself is 35 kilometers across. The initial discovery was made at the Silver King project in the western part of the district, and over the last 100 years has advanced to the west, with major discoveries continuing to be made, including in 2020, what we consider a major discovery at our Fox target in the center of our Keno East part of our project. This discovery is significant in that it identifies a new style of mineralization in the district that may be more amenable to bulk mining methodologies. We have identified mineralization up to 177 meters thick that essentially is shallow dipping and more modest grade than the traditional narrow vein, high grade silver lead zinc veins that were mined historically, but in a much broader, more significantly wide and configuration that again is amenable to bulk mining methodologies. And so we're beginning to build resources on the 5 targets that are shown in the circles here. Our Formo target, we just announced these results in the last month at Formo, which is high grade silver on an in-holding within the Hecla mining project. We announced our Fox results earlier in the year, and we'll be looking to make an announcement on our results of our Caribou drilling sometime in the next quarter, with the idea of moving up to these 5 targets into an inaugural resource calculation or resource announcement for 2023. I want to talk a little bit about our La Plata copper, silver, gold PGE project in southwestern Colorado. It is at the southwestern end of the Colorado mineral belt, which has significant historic production, including 50 million ounces of gold, 500 million ounces of silver, and 1.5 billion pounds of moly historically. But there are numerous mines and exploration activities going on in the belt, including Newmont at their Cripple Creek operation, where they're mining on up to 30 million ounces of gold, and Freeport at its Climax and Henderson operations in Colorado, where they have significant moly resources. And Hecla is also active in the district, in the Creed district down in south central Colorado, near the La Plata project. So this is a well-advanced district with great infrastructure and good support and a good network of companies exploring in the district. And we think that this copper, silver, gold, PGE asset will be of great importance to companies that are seeking minerals in North America to get over this critical mineral hump. Copper is not part of the critical minerals list, but it should be, because it is one of the key metals that's going to help electrify the company, fix the grids to deliver the electricity to the power the electric cars and all the various things that we're working towards with the green energy future. I just want to mention that the La Plata district was initially discovered in the late 1700s by Spanish explorers, and eventually was mined by mom and pop operators for gold and silver and telluride minerals between the late 1800s and the early 1940s. And in the 1940s, the War Powers Act shut down all the mining activity. And in the 50s, after the war, the majors came into the district and recognized there was a alkalic copper porphyry system in the center of the district, and began to explore their very fractured land packages. They made some significant work, but ultimately in 20 years, from the 50s to the 70s, they did the majority of their work, and the project didn't rank within their system of ranking, and it sat basically unexplored for the last 50 years. And so we've been able to come into this forgotten district, do confirmatory work to upgrade the existing work that was done, build a better understanding of the district by having more control of, we own essentially, or have rights to, the minerals in 2/3 of the district on a significant property package here that allows us to look in a more holistic way at the geology and the resource potential. So based on the work that Rio and Freeport had done historically, we put out our new resource in April of 2022. The following summer, we drilled these two holes that are shown in red. I'll mention that this hole, both of these holes were designed to expand this tooth of resource at depth. And this hole intercepted 800 meters of continuous sulfide mineralization that we're very excited and we look forward to announce about here in the coming month. And I would urge all of you to take note and watch for that release as we go forward, because it will help to build an understanding of what we're trying to do and what we're capable of accomplishing on the project with respect to not only growing resources, but vectoring towards higher grade and making new discoveries on the project. Through our systematic exploration of the La Plata project, we've been able to identify up to 16 additional porphyry centers that have not been tested by drilling historically. And that is a function of being able to consolidate the district and have the ability to apply this newer modern technology to the district that hasn't been explored in 50 years. So we think it's a very significant project, and one, again, I'll urge you to pay attention to as we go forward. Just restating the resource here, it's nearly 1 billion pounds of copper equivalent, 115 million tons at a 0.25% cutoff, with a copper grade at 0.35, a silver grade at 4 grams, and a copper equivalent grade of 0.39% copper equivalent. That will continue to grow, and we should see an expanded resource announcement based on the 2022 drilling as we apply it to our La Plata project. I'll just mention that in the short time, as we've been exploring this project since 2019 and working to identify this resource, that it already at 1 billion pounds is significant in terms of the number of billion-pound plus projects copper projects in North America. And again, if you think about the need for copper, for the green energy future, and these critical minerals, there are few projects that in the U.S. that are actively being explored and developed. And this is a comparison of those projects, those key projects in North America. So we're already on the list, and we expect to see significant growth, both in the resource and potentially in grade as we continue to learn more and build and explore. Our third key project is our Klondike Gold production royalty portfolio, where in the Klondike district in the north central part of the Yukon territories, over 20 million ounces of gold was mined historically since 1898. And that historic production is shown in yellow. The areas that we claim in the black rectangle, shown as claims in green, were held in reserve by the major miner of the Klondike district, who was operating floating dredges and needed to hold back any development of those creeks so they would have power and water for their operations. And so when those became available, Metallic has been able to acquire those, and again recently signed an agreement with Parker Schnabel of Little Flake Mining of the Discovery Channel's Gold Rush TV show, and we expect a significant amount of production between 5,000 and 10,000 ounces this year, where we will in turn receive a 10 to 15% production royalty from that work. The other key thing is that provides a good income for us as a base of our operations to fund the company in good times and bad, or supplement exploration in good times. We have significant room to add more operators to repeat that process and build more of a royalty stream. Just a recap on milestones and catalyst. The company was founded in 2016 with a project acquisition at Keno Silver. Over the following 2 years, we did exploration. By late 2020, early 2021, we were making significant discoveries that we've now been announcing results for. And we're working on resource development this year on the project. These are some of those key results shown in the parentheses that we've announced in 2022. On our La Plata project in Colorado, we acquired the project in 2019, completed exploration and confirmatory work in 2020, 2021, put out our maiden resource in 2022, and now look to do significant expansion and to make new discoveries on the project. Our key catalyst moving forward are additional drill results on both projects, a maiden resource at Keno in 2023, an updated resource at La Plata in 2023, an announcement on new exploration programs during the year, and continued effort on alluvial production royalties, where mining should begin sometime this summer with Little Flake Mining in the Klondike. So our capital structure, we've got 150 million shares issued and outstanding. We've got a market cap around $36 million, cash and equivalents with no debt equal $2.5 million, and some significant shareholders. Management and our associates own 19% of the company. Eric Sprott's got 16%, and we do have a couple of institutional investors that include US Global and OTP funds that are holders of our shares. I think that the next slide here shows really that, in summary, this is a great time to be looking at the junior explorers, and particularly companies like ours that have significant assets, that have great chance to move in to the next stage of development or analysis, and to become targets for major mining companies in the near future. So seeing the fact that from this Crescat Capital slide of January of 2023 that we're really oversold and we're ready to come out of this major low in the cycle for explorers and developers. It's a critical time to be analyzing companies like ours and making wise investment choices. So in summary, we have I think what I would say is a world-class asset checklist, 3 significant key assets in North America with significant geologic systems that show great scale and also grade, and well-known and understood deposit models that are world-class and high-grade, technical team with a great deal of expertise in developing these types of projects and moving them from the acquisition and discovery stage through the economic analysis phase. And we're in great jurisdictions, given perhaps the fact that our country, our continent, is going to need critical minerals to move forward to develop this green energy future. And with that, I'm going to take a few questions. So first question is, what is our key takeaways from our 2022 Keno drilling? The primary focus of our 2022 drilling at our Keno project was to build on those areas that we knew had resource potential and to try and maximize with the modest meterage that we had to put into drilling on the project before we came out with our inaugural resource. So we were able to expand our footprint of our new discovery at Fox with significant drilling that shows a much wider interval of mineralization than we expected, at up to 177 meters, at really a grade that is similar to what is being mined or is held in resource at Cordero in Mexico by Discovery Silver, and higher grade than what is their projected mill feed from their recent technical report and PEA. At our in-holding at Formo, our Formo target, we drilled some, as expected, 4 meters of 1,000 grams, 1 meter at 2,500 grams per ton silver equivalent. So high grade, narrow vein type things that are very consistent with what we see in the district in mineralization that is very similar to what Hecla is exploring for and developing at their Birmingham asset and in the Hector Calumet pit, which is a mere 2 kilometers away from our Formo asset. And Hector Calumet produced 90 million ounces of silver by itself. So we think we're in great stead. We're really ready to take those results and do the modeling to move those into a resource stage here, given that we meet certain criteria to do so. The next question is, what is your projected Klondike royalties for 2023? So if Parker Schnabel moves into the district and mines 10,000 ounces at a 10% royalty, assuming $1,800 gold, that's really $1.8 million to Metallic Minerals. And he could do more, he could do less. We don't know exactly what the production amount is going to be, but then the royalty is variable from 10 to 15%. So, but that's going to put you roughly in the ballpark. The next question, and again, I should just reemphasize perhaps more the ability to add more operators. Probably not at that scale, but more operators down the road. So the next question is, what's our relationship with Hecla? And I think this will be the last question given the time we have left. What is our relationship with Hecla? Have there been discussions with them at all regarding Keno? And we are good neighbors. We have good relationships. I've talked with their CEO. I've talked with their vice president of exploration several times. I have key associates from past work within the organization. They see us, they see what we're doing. They are going to be interested in our resources when the time is right. We'll see more of them, I believe, after they get their operation up and running. in Q3, and we'll look forward to developing more dialogue with them about what we represent to their operation at Keno as we go forward. And with that, I think that concludes our time, and I want to thank you all for listening in today, and I appreciate your attention.